in brand new American Trucker.
This week on American Trucker, we go big.
Here we go. This is as bad as it gets.
In fact, the biggest American trucker yet. We are attempting to haul in excess of 350,000 pounds. Wow! And you will not believe what it takes to get this here.
You won't get to experience something like this again.
I can guarantee that is a fact. One thing goes wrong, it would be catastrophic.
Big rigs and truckers, try to imagine this country without them. Guess what? You can't.
Let's rock and roll.
My name is Rob Mariani, and ever since I was a kid, I have been out of my mind crazy about anything with 18 wheels.
Look at this lump! This is totally Mac Daddy. Wow! I love the smell of diesel fumes in the morning.
They're cool, but without the trucker, they are simply a machine.
If you ain't turning,
You ain't earning.
you are in the stuff of legend!
Together, they help build the roads, the schools, the hospitals, your house. They even delivered everything in your house.
You know what that is? That is called pride.
They stock the stores. They come to the rescue. And when they're working, they never play around. American truckers are the backbone of this country. Don't believe me? Stick around. You will. The US of A is big. Everything needed to make it run is big. Just look around. There is big stuff everywhere. How did all this big stuff get where it is? On the back of a very big rig. In fact, I'm not talking big. I'm talking ginormous.
We are outside of Columbus, Ohio, and it's not exactly balmy outside. I'm hooking up with the guys from Diamond Heavy Haul, and we're going to haul something so big, so bad, it's going to have multiple engines. One in the tractor, one at the rear that steers axles. I don't know too much about it, but I'm going to go hook up with Don, and he's going to tell us more. This is a bad 379. I'm going to have to pick his brain on that thing, because I don't think it's bone stock coming off the line. 19 axles on a tractor? Are you kidding me? This ought to be good. That's what American Trucker's all about. You want to talk about the backbone? This is like the iron bone that's going to become the backbone.
This thing is huge. Turning the corner now, it's like a football field. Still walking.
This is, I'm calling it, what do you call it?
It's a dual-lane transporter. It's basically called a dual-lane transporter because of the way it spreads the weight out on the dual lanes of travel.
200 and how many feet?
245 feet long in this configuration and 18 feet wide right now.
Is that the longest you can do, 245?
No,
can you go longer?
We can go longer.
Oh, by the way, a 747 is 231 feet long.
We're pulling it from the front and with 625 horsepower, a Caterpillar, and we're pushing it on the back with another 550 horsepower.
Is this like the old fire department where you'd steer in the back?
Only better.
Now it's time for the payload. This massive power generator is going to need a little bit more than a Bobcat to get it off of this rolling pallet and then onto the rig.
So Don, what's the deal here? What's happening?
Well, what we're doing is they're erecting the gantry crane. It's going to lift the load off of the trailer and set it onto our trailer.
We got the track, we got to level the bottles all up, make everything plumb and level, because the higher you go up, if you're not level, it'll tend to want to tilt with you.
Completed gantry right here. These straps, I would imagine, go onto those yellow, what do you call them?
Bollards.
Bollards.
Yep.
This brings a whole new meaning to oversized load.
This is all very big equipment, but precision is indeed the name of the game.
The load weighs 372,000 pounds. By the time it gets onto our trailer and you combine all the weights together, we're permitted for 632,000 pounds gross vehicle weight.
632,000 pounds gross vehicle weight. Okay, the average guy going down the interstate is DOT regulated at 80,000.
Even though this isn't the team's first rodeo, you can tell that things are intense. Time to lift this behemoth. This gantry crane uses 4 hydraulic lifts called bottle jacks that can move a total of 800,000 pounds.
Almost, we're almost there.
Over 300,000 pounds suspended behind me.
Now the hard part. They have to lift the payload higher and slide it sideways to get it on the hauler.
It's actually frightening standing over here with this much weight suspended in the air, and I keep thinking every little piece, every shackle, the straps, one thing goes wrong, it would be catastrophic. Each guy's got to coordinate with the other guy and get it just right. It's dangerous what they're doing. Every bit of it is dangerous.
So the team now relevels the lift by hand to make 100% certain that the weight is evenly distributed.
And we get it right on. You don't get about right, because the farther you get up, the more wrong you are.
Perfect. So how does 185 tons stack up against 12-inch steel girders?
The trailer's got this big arc in it, and you said that when this thing gets on it, it's actually going to sit flat.
Yeah, there's so much deflection built into that trailer right now. The top of the beam at the highest part of the camber, or the arch, is about 7 feet 2 inches off the ground. When we set this piece onto the trailer, it'll be flat and about 6 to 8 inches off the ground.
That is what I'm talking about. That is heavy haul. It took all day long. It is done. This load is on. Now it's got to sit for a full day, let the load settle. The next step is the DOT inspection, and then we're going to find you on the road with this bad boy behind me.
Coming up, the heavy haul begins.
Here we go. This is as bad as it gets.
And we know the cargo is super heavy. And we know this rig is super wide.
Man, that is some tight quarters.
But the trickiest part of the whole project might not have anything to do with either of those. This is no messing around.
Properly wired.
American Trucker is hauling heavy. We are prepping to move 370,000 pounds from this yard to a barge on the Ohio River 133 miles away.
We're back at the loading facility. This load has soaked. You can see it's all strapped up, ready to go. We've got 4 state troopers, an escort. We got DOT. We've got municipalities that are going to be lifting up stoplights, and I am really psyched to hit the road.
You won't get to experience something like this again.
I can guarantee that is a fact. Probably you haven't either.
With this load, state troopers were here to guide traffic every inch of the way.
We come back out here before it goes out on the roadway and make sure that they're in compliance with the permit that they applied for. All the measurements between each axle, the overall length, the overall width, the overall weight, and we also want to make sure that the load's secured properly. We look at the brake lines, make sure that nothing's frayed. Tire tread depths, all that.
And this particular one is heavier than any other that they have ever dealt with.
It pushes the limits on a lot of it.
I mean, it's a little different than, here's a 53-footer that's coming through, and he's 4,000 over. Check one box, park it.
This guy's 20 feet wide. It's the biggest that we've ever taken. Any double guardrail, any series of curves, like especially in Howard, how there's that real tight turn, just don't even let people in there.
I'm getting on the back of the trailer, I've been told, and I cannot get off.
What I don't want to do is be worried about where's Rob at.
All right, this is going to be my vantage point for a few hours. I just hope I don't fall off.
Ready to go?
Yep.
Now this 2-day journey begins. I'm on board with Patrick Miller, who is the tiller man. He basically drives this rig from the opposite end of the cab. In the cab is senior driver Steve Beavis, a 10-year heavy load specialist. He is also in charge of the training for all of the dual-lane transports. The route has been carefully planned out. The first day will cover the most ground, as the team will be traveling through 8 small towns before it hits the highway. This rig, which is 3/4 the length of a football field, has a turning radius of over 3 times that of a normal 18-wheeler.
Man, that is some tight quarters.
But that is nothing compared to what the infamous Square has to offer. They have been through this before, but unfortunately today, the roads are iced over.
What's happening right now is we seem to be having some traction problems with the rig up front. They're putting sand underneath it.
We're using this as auxiliary hydraulics. When we're pushing with the pusher motor, we can't run the hydraulics at the same time. We're trying to use the pusher to help us up the hill, but it isn't enough traction.
Under all the normal conditions, I would not be off of this trailer because the guys in the back of the trailer do not get off. We do not stop, but it's spinning its wheels. We're stuck on the square. It's only happened one other time, Patrick said. So this ought to be really wild. Seeing another tractor get hooked up to this one. I'm hoping that we can get through this square. Here we go. This is as bad as it gets. Putting the hole off of the top of that shack.
That'll rip right off.
Diamond also has a support team that travels with each load for an occasion just like this. It is critical that they keep delays like this to a minimum because the barge at the receiving end cannot wait around. With the other Peterbilt acting as a tow truck of sorts, combined with the two engines on the hauler, the team is able to get the load back on track.
Let's go. We got to rock and roll.
You want to hear something amazing? The expenses. The police. The whole circus. Getting this load from A to B, or hook to hook as they say, is way north of $100,000. That is over $750 per mile. And that doesn't include docking fees, cranes, rigging, barges. That's simply the trip itself. Now that the small towns are behind us, it's time to tackle the next big issue. Hills. Steep grades, especially in this weather, is a major issue for any 18-wheeler. Our speed slows to a mere 10 miles per hour, and you can really tell why this is called a dual-lane transport. Man, this is a tough hill, huh? Steep and curved. Holy smokes, this is difficult. What kind of grade do you think that is right there?
Probably 6 or 7.
6 or 7 grade up a hill with 600,000 plus pounds, and it's going. Son of a it's going.
End of day one. We're just outside of Bel Air, Ohio. DOT regulation mandates that they cannot run this thing at night. We have gone as far as we can possibly go for the day. It's cold. I'm going to go find some place to sleep. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night. This morning, I think we're going to find out when we can roll. What are we waiting on DOT to say when and how and what?
Steve Beavis will get everybody together, along with our ODOT counterpart, along with our Ohio State Police. We got several maneuvers we got to do. We got several bad intersections we're going to have to do.
This ought to be good.
Watching this team in action yesterday was inspiring, especially the two drivers of this rig. Patrick Miller in the back, Steve Beavis in the cab.
Quite the responsibility of 600,000 plus pound payload making its way to the Ohio River to get to another country. American Trucker, backbone for America, lifeline or support line to the world.
How do you get a rig like this? Well, if you're Diamond, you just build it yourself. Before we left, I took a tour of this massive operation.
I'm at the headquarters of Diamond Heavy Haul.
Don is going to give me a tour, but I'm also going to get to meet the boss, Tanya Engel, who took over the operation when her husband and the founder of Diamond Heavy Haul, Steve Engel, was tragically killed in a drag racing accident.
How many square feet is this building?
We're looking at 80,000 square feet of manufacturing facility.
This is a serious place to put some serious equipment together.
When you're building 200-foot-long trailers, you definitely need some room. Everything that we build with starts out as flat steel plate.
What does that weigh?
That weighs right at 20,000 pounds.
And how thick is that?
1.5 inches.
Ah! So I would imagine that you're going to be moving it with these overhead monster King Kong cranes.
Correct.
Awesome. So that's how you move the steel, but how do you cut it?
Now you got to understand, our burning table is 85 foot long.
Burning table? You mean like a cutting?
It's a high definition plasma, or it can run up to 7 oxygas torches simultaneously.
This looks wild.
This is cool.
You put your assembly together, now you have to weld it out. So you can either have some guy standing there welding it, or you can bring it over here and your robot can weld it.
Oh my God, look at that thing in Star Wars.
The next part of this big and nasty tour is going to be my favorite.
We're going to go see some big, nasty trailers outside the yard right now. And unfortunately, Don's going to throw me the wolves, and so is Tanya, and I'm going to drive one of them, I think. Or,
Yep.
I don't know, scratch something, maybe, dent something.
Here's what all the bending, cutting, and welding produces. And I'm going to pilot one of these monsters.
Oh my!
The person driving the back is called your tillerman. He's going to get up there and try to show you how to be a tillerman. RT is your lead driver. Not to psych you out, but you're going to be driving about $1.5 million worth of trailer. Try not to hit nothing.
$1.5 million. Kind of like driving a Bugatti.
All right, this one and this one. Go forward.
Not the middle.
Not the middle.
Do I tell RT we're ready to
I
rock?
need some half throttle and we're ready to go.
RT, we need some half throttle, brother. We're ready to rock back here.
Here's something that Bugatti doesn't have. 114 tires, costing almost 50 grand. This rig without the payload weighs 225,000 pounds. And fuel mileage? Forget about it. Less than 1 mile per gallon. Of course, the Bugatti only gets 10, so we're kind of even.
That's crazy. This is nuts.
This is the final leg of our journey. We are hauling 185 tons of cargo to a barge.
State troopers, it's their day off. They're not on taxpayers' dime. They're paid by the company for this. So at every level, every move, we got DOT, we got Ohio State troopers. We're ready to go.
Day one covered 116 miles of a 133-mile delivery. Today we'll be traveling less than 20 miles, but we estimate that it will take us 5 hours, and a lot of it will be downhill. By the way, this rig will go through 2,500 gallons of diesel on this trip. Finally, after 2 days, our very last hurdle.
What we got going right here is serious game over. He's going to come up all the way around this corner, down this street, back up, go down the bridge, and I believe into the valley. This is some serious stuff going on here.
A little more driver with your second set.
He's running a red light.
Try to wrap your brain around this maneuver. Steve and Patrick are moving 632,000 pounds backwards and downhill.
They have to back down there in one shot. Any mistake, we're going to be in a little bit of jam because the crane won't reach us and we won't be able to have enough traction in this slop to go forward.
To do this under control, they are using both engine brakes and all of the 37 individual brake assembly units on this rig.
When they say you should go big or go home, I think we went as big as we possibly could right now with this episode. Patrick here just said, right now this is really treacherous because this road is super slim, and he said, I have to think skinny. Telephone poles, fence, ditch. Not good.
Now that they made it down to the dock, it's time for this rig's final stunt. And I do not want to be any kind of distraction.
I'm jumping the hell off of this before it gets 2 feet from the river, bro. Good luck, you rule. All in the capable hands of my man Patrick. This is going to get really nasty. A crane on a barge right there is going to take this bad beast off by himself and load it onto a ship. And I was told the last time they did it, the barge was taken on water. Wow!
In case you haven't figured this out yet, Steve and Patrick have to parallel park a $1.5 million rig loaded with over 350,000 pounds of cargo in the mud 2 feet from the end of the dock. How's that for pressure?
A little more, keep it going, keep it going. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Job well done. This son of a gun is parallel parked a foot from the Ohio River, and we're gonna watch it get unloaded.
This scene, unloading on the banks of some waterway, happens thousands of times a day. And on the Ohio River, which by the way houses 10% of all Americans, you'll find folks like this working hard to bring you what you need. Every year on this river, it hauls about 230 million tons of cargo. 70% of that travels by barge. And don't forget, a barge cannot haul your stuff to the store. The American trucker is a spoke in the wheel as far as all the commerce. Ships, barges, of course you've got railroads. You better believe that you're going to find an 18-wheeler on the banks, either loading it or unloading it at some point. Mission accomplished. This massive power generator has been successfully delivered, and the next time you flip the lights on in your house, remember this team of American truckers.
Without flaw, they delivered the super load. It's going on the barge. I don't know where it's going. I know that it generates power. What does that mean to you? You probably never thought twice about it. Go to your kid's Little League game. You want to go shopping in the store. You want to drive down the street with street lights. You name it. Power. We all love it. We had to use it. Courtesy of the American trucker, and in this case, Diamond Heavy Haul and a super load from hell.